Hello, my name is Mario Mouton and I'm with We Train Dogs, and today I would like to talk about one of my favorite places in the universe, and that is Mutts Cantina. Mutts Cantina is a really awesome place. It's one of the best places to take your dog in Dallas, but there are a lot of things going on there, a lot of moving parts, and there are a lot of handlers that are on their game, handlers that are not on their game, and this is really about teaching you what to expect whenever you go there and how to handle your dog accordingly so that you don't have any issues. One of the first things that I suggest, guys, is I want you to walk around the area. So whenever you come to a new place, if you've never been there before with your dog, take in the lay of the land, walk around the park, walk around the dog park, wherever you are, try to get the lay of the land. That's going to allow you to handle your dog a lot better whenever you get into a complex environment like Mutts. Mutts has a lot of obstacles, and they have a lot of things that your dog can play with. And so what you want to do is just take into account everything that's there. So let's talk about Blue. Blue is the little Australian cattle dog that you see here playing with the golden retriever. We're going to talk about him later. And so today, I really want to show you how not to allow a little dog like Blue, who's being very, very sweet, how to prevent him from digressing whenever you're training with him and possibly undoing some of the training that you're doing. So guys, whenever you're looking at Mutts, you can tell it's a fairly sprawling place, lots of dogs that are moving around. If you do your due diligence and you walk around, you're going to find that there are some dogs that you want your dog to hang out with, and there are some dogs that you might not want your dog to interact with. Not all dogs that are at a dog park are on the same level. Not all handlers are on the same handler level. That's something you want to take into account when you bring your dog to a place like this. One of the things I want you to be really aware of is handlers that are not paying attention to their dog. So Mutts is a great place, and it's an awesome place to take your dog, but they also serve drinks. And they also have a lot of other things going on. So there might be people socializing, there might be people paying solid attention to their dog, and then there might be others that aren't paying as much attention. And so what you want to do is when you come in, get the lay of the land, and you kind of want to identify your dog's kind of play partners, the ones that you want to play with, the ones that you don't necessarily want him to interact with so much. So let's talk about Blue here for a second. Blue, he's a great guy, but as you can see, he likes to play relatively rough with other dogs. So he will put a little bit of pressure on you. As you can see, he's kind of running behind the other puppy, the golden the golden puppy. He's kind of nipping at the heels, whatnot, that sort of thing. And what I noticed is he was relatively pushy with most of the dogs that he was interacting with. And not because he was trying to be a super bad guy, but that's just him. So as soon as dogs would come in, he would do this number where he'd kind of hem them up, and he's basically trying to herd them. And some dogs like this, and some dogs really, really hate this. So you need to be aware of that whenever you go to a dog park or any public location, that you don't want your dog to just kind of just have its instincts kind of take control. You want to break this up a little bit, and you want to play with your dog. So notice how everybody's kind of sitting down, they're nice and calm, and Blue's running around, and they're kind of playing with each other, but notice how they're bumping into other people, and that's cool. I mean, right now you're just watching two puppies play, and it's incredibly cute. This is why people go to the dog park, so they can have their dog play with other dogs, and so they can see stuff like this. But I want you to keep your eye on this. Notice how Blue keeps going after the other dog, keeps going after the golden, and he keeps pursuing him and pursuing him, knocking him down, that sort of thing. And it's kind of cute, but look at right here. You see how he'll disengage a little bit, and then he'll come right back to it. So if you notice that actually the other dogs don't necessarily do this. It's okay for dogs to play and for them to hurt each other and chase and nip at each other's heels and that sort of stuff. But what you want to do is basically draw a line, and the issue that you have is that some dogs don't necessarily know where that line is. So when you take your dog out and you see that they're playing with another puppy, you want to be able to stop it and intervene sometimes. Right there would have been a good point. And now what you see is that the golden doodle's starting to get a little bit agitated, right? Starting to get a little tired. He's been running around a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit fatigued. He's pushing his cardio. And what ends up happening is right now he wants to disengage a little bit, but every time he goes to disengage, Blue keeps coming up behind him and kind of nipping at his heels. So here they go at it again, and he keeps going. And once again, this is relatively cute. If you're watching this, you're not going to think that anything is going on. But if both of these dogs get older and they do the same thing in the other part of Mutts Cantina, then people are gonna start to get mad, then people are gonna start to say things. And so what we wanna do is get out ahead of that before that happens. Right around here, guys, where it starts to get serious. You see how the golden starts to bare his teeth a little bit, you start to hear a little bit more growling, and notice how there's not less running. Like, he's not giving ground, he's going for the top of the neck here, and once again, Blue is just right at it, putting pressure on him, putting pressure on him. And guys, what Blue's trying to do is he's trying to break him from a cardiovascular standpoint. He knows if he gets him tired, then he's gonna get on top of him and basically hump him. And that's the way dog training works, guys. Where dogs, when they play around, they'll wrestle, and one dog will get on top of the other dog, and then he'll hump them, and then it's over. And until one humps the other one, this can continue for quite a while. And so, what's happening though, if you notice how he's bumping into other people, and notice how the lady is holding her dog, and her dog starts to bark, and everybody is teaching their dog something at this time, guys. The lady who's holding her dog is teaching her dog to bark at distractions. If you notice, there's another guy, and he's sitting right next to his dog, and his dog's not doing anything. He's not petting it, he's not getting a lot of reinforcement. He's actually playing on his phone right there, right? He's looking at his phone. His dog is not paying attention to this ruckus behavior that's happening right behind him. He's missing a really golden training opportunity where he could give his dog some positive reinforcement right there for not engaging in this madness. Now later on, if his dog does start to engage in this, he's gonna jump up and say, no, bad dog. But right here is really where it's the best time to positively reinforce this. And look at this, guys. As you can see, things are starting to deteriorate. The golden starts to get more frustrated. And you start to get a conflagration. The other dogs start to come in. You saw that King Charles Spaniel come in a second ago, kind of nip at the heels. And now things are starting to go downhill. Once again, if this dog is a little bit older, then there might be some issues at the other side of the park here. The owner's not being a bad owner. I talked to him whenever we were out there. He was just, I think his wife was at the mall or something. He just took his dog over there so they can hang out a little bit, and he got a drink. And it all kind of starts right here, guys. So right here at the front, notice how this woman picks her dog up as she walks in. That's where it starts. And so that puppy is just being a puppy, but what that woman just taught her dog is, I'm going to pick you up in case there's another dog, bearing down on you. And that's not necessarily the message that you want to send. So here's Blue, and he's at it again. This time he's found a Boston to play with, the ultimate dog to aggravate. And Bostons, of course, don't like to be herded, and they love to play. But what you're going to see right here are handling on two fronts right here, two bad points. You're gonna see bad handling from not only the handler who's just letting his dog do this, but also the woman who owns the Boston. And she's watching her dog, and they're playing, and at first, once again, it's really kind of innocent. Right here, though, she kind of starts to detect that her dog doesn't like this. Notice how Blue just keeps putting pressure on her, And she starts to pet her dog and say, it's okay, he's just trying to play. But he's actually not trying to play. Blue's really being a jerk right now. And what she's really teaching her dog is in the face of this sort of distraction, I'm not going to defend you. Now notice how the Boston jumps up now. She's holding him. He starts to bark and vocalize. He's seeking shelter, and she's holding him, and she's giving him positive reinforcement for barking right there. So later on, if that behavior continues, she'll wonder where it came from, and it probably came from this rep right here. She's not trying to be bad. He's not trying to be bad. Nobody's trying to be bad in this situation. We're at a dog park, and we think this is play, when in reality, these are negative behaviors that are getting reinforced. Notice how he keeps putting pressure on her, and he just won't disengage, and at no point does his handler come over and grab him or engage with him, guys. And that's really all I'm asking for. This video isn't a lot about what to do, it's about what not to do. Just don't, like you see this dog right here, don't leave your dog unattended for extended periods of time. When you go to a dog park, you're there to play with your dog. If you just sit there and you play on your cell phone and your dog just keeps engaging with other dogs, then they're going to teach him whatever they want to teach him. And what that Golden decided to teach him today was to herd other dogs and to be very, very physical. And then he went over and he learned the same thing from the Boston. And at no point did his owner ever assert himself. And so when the dog goes to the dog park and starts to pay attention to other dogs and completely disconnects from you, it's because you taught it that. And you're not trying to be a bad handler. It just happens because you're in this really beautiful, wonderful environment, and you were thinking about the environment, not necessarily about your dog. So guys, the first time that you go to an environment like this, what I want you to do is, once again, take in the lay of the land. I want you to try to find some play partners that you want your dog to work with. Slowly introduce them to the park. So go to the part of the park that's calm, and then work your way to the more exciting part of the park. So guys, try not to hang out in the entrance to the park right where everything's going on, everything's real exciting. Try to work your way to the back where there's less going on, and so that way you can also disengage, guys. That's really what the lady that owned that Boston should have done, was when that other dog started to put pressure on her and she couldn't get away, her dog couldn't get away. She should have stood up and then walked away, and what you would have found is that Blue probably would have got disinterested. So guys, just knowing the lay of the land and having a little bit of a game plan when you go here can really, really help out. So plan your entrances and plan your exits. When you come in, you want to know where you're going to hang out. Am I going to sit at a table? Am I going to sit in a lawn chair? Am I going to, hang in the back of the park? And you want to just have a plan for the exit as well. Am I going to go out the side exit? Am I going to go out the front? And then as you're exiting, you don't want to do that at a time where there are a lot of other distractions or obstacles. So if somebody is bringing in 5 dogs at once, and they look like they're really hard to handle, you might not want to try to go through the exit as they're coming through the entrance. So just little bitty things like that can prevent you and prevent your dog from deteriorating whenever you go to a place like a dog park, guys. And once again, Blue's not trying to be a bad guy, he's not trying to be a bad handler, but what will end up happening over time is those behaviors, those herding behaviors will get stronger and stronger, and because the environment is self-reinforcing, then they'll increase in frequency, intensity, and duration. So guys, Mutts Cantina, I really want you to go and check it out. It's a wonderful place to go and bring your dog. What I want you to do is whenever you go there, just kind of pay attention to your dog and keep your head on a swivel. This is the Impossible Mari Mouton with We Train Dogs. You guys have a nice day.